Workflow. This video will cover creating document workflows in Docsvault. The Workflow module can help your organization in speeding up repetitive business processes that involve multiple participants while significantly reducing human errors. Some common workflow examples would be invoice approvals, HR formalities, purchase authorization, approving new contracts or agreements, etc. Workflows in Docsvault are very flexible and can be used for any process, from a simple one-step approval to a conditional multi-step operation. Workflow in Docsvault consists of a series of steps and transitions. A step can be defined as a stage in a document's lifecycle or business process. Example, for review, approval, awaiting payment, etc. Transitions are user actions performed by participants to move a workflow to the next step. Example, reviewed, approved, rejected, paid, etc. We will be designing a simple invoice approval workflow for our demo. In our case, a user will scan or directly import an invoice from a vendor and initiate an invoice approval workflow on it. The workflow will enter into the initial verification process, where participants of that step can verify it or send it back for corrections. If found correct, the workflow will move on to manager approval. When the manager approves the invoice, it is automatically sent to the accountant for payment. Authorized users can create new workflows, either from the Docsvault Server Manager dialog or from within their desktop or web applications. In the desktop client, click on Administration and then Manage Workflows to open up the workflow list. Workflows can be created using normal forms or using the graphical designer. Click on New and then Designer to open up the workflow designer. We will quickly add our 4 steps and then join them to create new transitions. To add a new step, click on the Add Step button to draw and name the necessary steps. We will now join the steps to create transitions between them by hovering the mouse over a step and dragging one of the blue squares and dropping them on a target step. To end the workflow, add the End Workflow element and then connect it with the necessary steps. Once we have our structure ready, we will start configuring our steps and transitions. Click on the 3 dots menu or double-click on the step to open up Step Properties dialog. Add instructions for participants of the review step to check items and totals. We will assign this step of the workflow to user Mike. You may also add multiple participants individually or as a group. You can add a reference document, say for example a price list, as a ready reference for participants of this step. The due days and time option allows you to set the default duration to complete this task. Click Next to edit the step transitions. You will see the transitions we already created for this step listed here. Double-click on a transition to bring up the Edit Transition dialog. Transition actions allow you to set automatic changes to happen on the workflow documents when the transition is performed. You can add notifications specific to this transition in addition to normal step notifications and choose how many participants need to perform this action for the workflow to move forward. Additionally, you can verify the user's identity by requiring them to supply their system password. Click on Save and then repeat the same process to edit the other transitions in this step. Click Next to configure optional auto transitions based on duration, index value match, or digital signature status. The next screen allows you to set reminders before and after the due date. Complete the step configuration by clicking the Finish button. In case of an error, we want to send the workflow back to its initiator. To do this, double-click on the Error Correction step and add the dynamic Workflow Initiator user as the participant for this step. We also want our reviewers to send the invoice to different managers for approval based on their departments, so we will set up the Approve step to let users of the previous step specify the participants when sending the workflow to this step. Once we have completed editing all steps and transitions, it's time to save the workflow and set some workflow preferences. click on the Save Workflow button to bring up the Workflow Preferences dialog. We will call this an AP Invoice Approval workflow. We will now set the necessary permissions on this workflow. From under the Permissions tab, we will add users and groups that will be allowed to initiate this workflow. This field can be left blank if the workflow will be configured to trigger automatically. Optionally, we can specify managers and watchers for this workflow. Managers have full visibility of all instances of this workflow and can change participants and due dates of any step. Watchers, too, have full visibility of all instances, but are simply read-only supervisors of this workflow. You may also place further restrictions to make this workflow available only for documents with specific document profiles. The Workflow Actions tab allows us to set automatic changes to the workflow document when the workflow is initiated or canceled. Finally, the Automatic Workflow Triggers tab will allow us to auto-initiate this workflow when a new document is created under specific folders or with specific document profile. Our workflow is now configured and ready for use. Thank you for watching this section of our video tour series. For more information about Docsvault or to schedule a personalized demo to focus on your specific business needs, please contact us at sales@docsvault.com.